Have you ever had that gut feeling that someone doesn't truly respect you, but you couldn't quite put your finger on why? Maybe it was the way they spoke to you. Maybe it was their tone, their actions, or their lack of action. Or maybe it was the way they made you question yourself over and over again. Here's the truth. Disrespect doesn't always come in obvious, aggressive forms. Most of the time it's silent, subtle, hidden behind a smile. And if you don't recognize it, you'll end up tolerating it, thinking it's normal, thinking you're overreacting, thinking it's just how they are. But Carl Jung had a powerful insight about human behavior. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And this includes how they treat you. When someone doesn't respect you, they reveal it in two key ways. How they make you feel when you're around them. What they do when you start setting boundaries. So let's break this down. Because once you see these signs, you'll never unsee them again. Disrespect isn't just about insults or blatant rudeness. It often hides behind everyday interactions, so small, so frequent, that you almost get used to it. Here are some subtle ways people disrespect you. First, they interrupt you mid-sentence. Ever noticed how some people constantly cut you off? It's not just bad manners, it's a power play. They're sending a clear message. What I have to say is more important. I don't actually care about what you're saying. Your words don't hold as much weight as mine. At first you might brush it off, but over time, you'll start speaking less and less because deep down, you feel unheard. Next, they never acknowledge your accomplishments. When you share good news, do they celebrate with you? Or do they downplay it, ignore it, or make it about themselves? Disrespect isn't just in the negative comments. It's in the lack of support when you need it the most. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." If someone consistently refuses to acknowledge your growth, it's often because your success triggers their own insecurities. And instead of facing that, they'd rather belittle you. Thirdly, they use sarcasm as a weapon. A joke is only funny when both people are laughing. But some people, they use sarcasm and playful insults to disguise real disrespect. Oh wow, you actually finished something for once. You? Giving advice? That's funny. Oh, come on, I'm just joking, don't be so sensitive. See the pattern? They hide behind humor, so they never have to take responsibility for how their words make you feel. And if you call them out, they flip it on you, making you the problem. Now let's look at something very intriguing. Let's take a look at the biggest test, how people react to your boundaries. Want to know who truly respects you? Say no to them. Watch what happens next. Because when someone doesn't respect you, they won't just dislike your boundaries. They'll try to make you feel guilty for even setting them. They guilt trip you for prioritizing yourself. Wow, I guess you don't care about me anymore. I thought we were closer than that. You used to be more fun. What happened? What this mean? They never respected your time, energy, or emotional space in the first place. They ignore your boundaries completely. Ever told someone you didn't want to talk about something, but they bring it up anyway? Or said you needed space, and they kept pushing? Disrespect isn't just about what people do. It's about what they refuse to stop doing when you clearly ask. They play the victim when you stand up for yourself. I can't believe you're making such a big deal out of this. After everything I've done for you, wow, you've changed. The moment you demand respect, some people will act like you're attacking them. Not because you're wrong, but because they thrived in the old version of you who tolerated it. But remember this. People who truly respect you won't be offended by your boundaries. Only those who benefited from your lack of boundaries will. Now, here's the question. Why do some people feel the need to disrespect others? Is it intentional? Is it insecurity? Or is it something deeper? Disrespect is a projection of their own inner chaos. Carl Jung's shadow theory explains that people often reject and criticize in others what they refuse to face in themselves. The person who constantly interrupts, they feel unheard in their own life. The one who downplays your achievements, they feel small in their own failures. The one who mocks you for setting boundaries, They resent that they lack the courage to do the same. So their disrespect? It's not really about you. But here's where most people make the mistake. They internalize it. They start wondering, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I should just let it go. Maybe I don't deserve better. And that's exactly how disrespect turns into a cycle. But here's what you need to understand. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. So now that you recognize the signs of hidden disrespect, what's the next step? How do you reclaim your self-respect and stop tolerating the behaviors that drain you? Because respect isn't just about how others treat you. It's about what you accept, what you walk away from, and what you no longer tolerate. All right, now we're diving deep into the mindset shift that makes people respect you instantly. How to set boundaries without guilt. The exact words to say when someone disrespects you, because the moment you master this, you'll never second-guess your worth again. Stay with me, because this next part is where everything changes. Now that you see the hidden ways people disrespect you, here's the question: how do you make them stop? The answer isn't about fighting back, proving yourself, or demanding respect. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally commands it. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And this applies to respect just as much as it applies to anything else. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. People will only respect you as much as you respect yourself. So if you've been tolerating disrespect, ask yourself, where in my life am I accepting less than I deserve? What patterns have I normalized that are actually harming me? Why am I afraid to demand better? The moment you start answering those questions, everything shifts. Because respect starts internally, not externally. And the first step, it's how you respond to disrespect when it happens. There are 3 levels of response when someone disrespects you. Level 1, the silent response. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. You don't beg for respect. You don't try to explain your worth. You don't argue with people who already know they're crossing a line. Instead, you let your energy shift. Because disrespect thrives on reaction. And when you stop feeding it, it dies. If someone consistently ignores your value, pull back your energy. Stop oversharing. Stop trying to prove yourself. Stop expecting them to change. Watch what happens. The moment you withdraw, they will either adjust their behavior, if they genuinely care, or expose themselves even further, confirming what you already suspected. Either way, you win. Level 2, the boundary response. Words that command respect. Sometimes silence isn't enough. You need to set a verbal boundary. Here's how you do it without sounding weak or aggressive. If someone interrupts you, "I wasn't finished speaking. Let me complete my thought." If someone mocks you under the disguise of a joke, "I don't find that funny. Let's keep it respectful." If someone dismisses your achievements, "I don't need validation from you, but I do expect basic respect." If someone repeatedly ignores your boundaries, "I've asked you not to do that. If it happens again, I'll have to distance myself." See the pattern? Direct, calm, no over-explaining. Boundaries aren't threats, they're standards. And real respect isn't about forcing people to treat you better. It's about removing yourself from spaces where they refuse to. Level 3, the ultimate response, walking away with power. Sometimes the biggest power move is walking away completely. If someone keeps ignoring your boundaries, if they act like respect is optional, if they drain your energy instead of uplifting you, you have one final response: distance. Because here's the truth. Real power isn't in convincing people to respect you. It's in realizing you don't need them at all. Jung said it best: your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. And when you awaken to your worth, you will never again tolerate disrespect as normal. Now let me tell you this. The moment you start demanding better, 2 things will happen. People who truly care about you will step up. People who only benefited from your weakness will fall away. And both are blessings. Because when you finally stop making excuses for people who mistreat you, you make space for the right people to come in. People who see you, people who hear you, people who respect you without you having to beg for it. And that is when you step into your true power. Now that you know how to respond to disrespect, let's go deeper. Because respect isn't just about what you do, it's about how you carry yourself. You see, most people think respect is about demanding it, earning it through success, forcing people to recognize your worth. But the truth? Respect is about energy. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He believed that people project their own beliefs onto others. And if you unconsciously believe you're not worthy of respect, people will pick up on that energy. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. So, if you constantly feel disrespected, it's time to turn the mirror inward. Do you respect yourself? Do you set boundaries without guilt? Do you carry yourself like someone who deserves respect? Because people will treat you exactly how you treat yourself. And the moment you start carrying yourself with unshakable self-worth, people will take you more seriously. They will think twice before crossing you. And if they don't, you'll walk away without hesitation. That's the shift. That's the mindset that commands respect. Here's something most people don't realize. People are constantly testing you, even without knowing it. And if you fail these silent tests, people will subconsciously lose respect for you. Want to know if someone truly respects you? Pay attention to these two things. 1. How they treat you when you set a boundary. The moment you start saying no, some people will guilt trip you. Mark you! Try to push past your limits. And that tells you everything. A respectful person will honor your boundary. A disrespectful person will try to break it. The response is the test, and most people fail. 2. How they act when they no longer need you. Do they only treat you well when they want something? Do they disappear the moment you stop being useful to them? Do they ignore your feelings unless it benefits them? If so, they never respected you. They only valued what they could take from you. Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." And many people avoid facing their own selfishness until they're tested. So test them, watch, listen, and when someone shows you their true colors, believe them. Here's the final truth. Respect is not demanded, it is radiated. When you embody self-worth, people sense it. Your presence changes, your words carry more weight, and suddenly the people who once disrespected you either adjust or leave. Carl Jung believed that people are drawn to what they recognize within themselves. So if you respect yourself deeply, you will naturally attract those who do the same. But this shift, it starts with you. Stop explaining yourself to those who refuse to listen. Stop overgiving to those who only take. Stop tolerating behavior that drains your soul. Because once you do that, you will never have to question who respects you ever again. Now let's get real. Disrespect isn't always loud. It's not always an insult, an argument, or an obvious betrayal. Sometimes it's the silent disregard. The friend who never listens when you speak. The colleague who takes credit for your work. The person who only calls when they need something. And the biggest mistake you can make, pretending it doesn't matter. Because every time you excuse disrespect, you teach people it's okay to treat you that way. You shrink a little more. You start believing that maybe you don't deserve better, but you do. And right now, you have a choice. You can continue accepting less than you deserve, or you can set a new standard, starting today. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." So I ask you, who are you choosing to become? Are you choosing to be the person who tolerates disrespect, or the person who commands respect effortlessly? That choice, it starts with action, right now. Comment below, "I will no longer tolerate disrespect. I choose self-respect today." Subscribe for more content that sharpens your mind and strengthens your soul. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because self-respect is contagious. This is your moment. Take it, own it, and never let anyone treat you like you are less than you are ever again. The power is yours. Now use it.